Yeah, son. Good morning, 7th graders. Today we are going to learn proportions. It's my most favorite thing to do in math. So get ready. Well, hello there, 7th graders. We are going to start proportions. It is my favorite thing to teach. Okay, so when you get a word problem, and there are usually, this is like 90% of the time, when they give you three numbers, you can probably 90% of the time set up a proportion to solve it. Now, if you look at it, and I've told y'all this right here means that this is equivalent to this, okay? So whatever we plug in for B has to be the same as an equivalent fraction 8/16, okay? So you could also say, if this was an easy one, we could say 5 times what is 16, or 5 divided by what is 16, and then what we do at the bottom, we can do the top. But this is not an easy little fix right here. So we're going to do some fancy algebra. We're going to cross multiply. We have 16b. 16 times the letter b is equal to 8 times 5, okay? And then we solve that by doing 8 times 5, which is 40. And we still have 16b. Now, we need to get rid of the 16, and we need to, because we just need b by itself. So the only way to get rid of 16 is to undo what we're doing right here, which is multiplying, and we do the opposite by dividing. I'm about to lose it. Look, y'all. Aiden Paul is being a weirdo and staring at me, and so is Cole. They wanted to be called out. They got called out. I'll keep y'all updated on the grade they make on today's assignment because they're not doing that right now. It's probably not going to be pretty. Probably not going to be pretty. Oh, he's saying it is. We'll see. All right, so when I divide 16 by 16, I get nothing. I get just the letter B. And then I'm going to have to do 40 divided by 16 over here because I can't mentally do that. Okay, 16 will go into 42 times. 2 times 16 is 32. I'm going to have to borrow 8. And I'm going to add a decimal. 16 times, I'm going to guess and say 5, but I'm going to do that real quick to see. Yup, that's right. Okay, and 5 times 16 is 80, and that's a Cinderella fit. So B is equal to 2.5. All right, so I'm going to show you another way that we were taught how to do proportions when I was growing up. It's how your parents were taught. We weren't taught that fancy smancy algebra. We were taught to multiply what you can. I can multiply 8 times 5, and I get 40. So you cross multiply by the numbers that you can multiply, and then you divide by the leftover number. So basically you're just doing 40 divided by 16, which is what we just did. But they had to make it all crazy and algebraic-like, okay? So we're going to do one more easy problem, and then we're going to get into some more difficult proportion problems. This one is 18 over x is equal to 6 over 10, okay? Now, I know that 6 times 3 is 18. So if I multiply this by 3, I've got to multiply this by 3, and 10 times 3 is 30. So I already know probably that x is going to be 30. I'm guessing, but we'll see. All right, so you can do the fancy smancy algebra way, which is the way they're going to teach you. 6 times x, and then 18 times 10. All right, now this is where you can come in and you can divide this 6 by this 18 real quick. You can say, okay, I'm going to get rid of the 6 here. And that's going to turn into 3, and you do x equals 3 times 10, which is 30. You could do it that way. You could also do it 6x is equal to 18 times 10, You can multiply this out, 180, and then divide by 6, and you will get 30, okay? You could also say, okay, I'm going to cross multiply what I can. 10 times 18 is 180, and divide by 6. And you will see that you get 30 either way. Okay, so if you have a question, you need to raise your hand because you're going to have a graded assignment over this. Hello! We are back to the scary problems with proportions. They are decimals, and I'm just teasing, they're not scary. It would help if Miss Mitchell wrote the problems down right, then she could solve them correctly. So we're going to do the same way. This is not super easy. How do I get from 42 to 14? There's no way. So we're just going to solve it algebraically, or if you choose, you can just cross multiply the two numbers that you can multiply and then divide by the leftover number. It's going to give you P. But we're going to do it the fancy schmancy way because we like to look smart and feel smart. So we're going to multiply this, so it'll be 14. 14 times 0.45 is equal to 4.2p. All right, so now I'm going to multiply these two and figure what that is. 14 times, I'm just going to do 0.45. All right, now 4 times 5 is 20. The 0 can stay. The 2 gots to go. 1 times 5 is 5 plus 2 is 7. All right, so I'm going to drop my egg. 4 times 4 is 16. The 6 can stay, but this 1 gots to go. And 1 times 4 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So we have 6.3, sorry, because I have 2 decimal places here. Move it over, so we have 6.3. So this is 6.3, which is equal to 4.2p. Now, I'm erasing my work. Right here, I'm multiplying 4.2 times p, so I need to get rid of that. I want p to be by itself so I can figure out what to plug in here. So the way to get rid of this is to do the opposite of what it's doing. Well, right now, it's multiplying, so I'm going to do the opposite and undo it and get rid of it by dividing. So 4.2 divided by 4.2 is going to be 1. Okay, so now we just have p. So now I've got to divide this side by 4.2, and we are going to do TIBO. The top number is going to go in the box. The bottom number is going to go outside. So 6.3 times 4.2. I've got to move my decimal. Move my decimal. Okay. 42 will go into 63 one time. Because 40 plus 40 is 80, and that will be bigger. 3 minus 2 is 1, and 6 minus 4 is 2. And, sorry, 210. I'm going to say 5 because 2 times 5 will give me a 0. I'm just going to try it. And I'm going to see. 42 times 5. If 42 times 5 is 210, we're good. 2 times 5 is 10. The 0 can stay. The 1 got to go. 4 times 5 is 20, and 20 plus 1 is 21. So that works. All right. What? Okay. 5 times 42 is 210. That's a Cinderella fit. And our answer is 1.5 is equal to P. All right. We got one more semi-difficult problem. Okay. 3.6 over K is equal to 0.2 over 0.5. Make sure I wrote that down. I did. Okay. So, I don't know how to get from here to here because the decimal is going to throw me off. So I'm just going to do it the fancy schmancy way. And I'm going to cross multiply what I can. So we have 3.6 times 0.5 is equal to 0.2 K. All right, so now I'm going to multiply these out. And 3.6 times 0.5, and I'm not lining it up. It happened to line up. I don't line up my decimals when I'm multiplying by decimals. This just happened to. 6 times 5 is 30. The 0 can stay. The 3 got to go. 3 times 5 is 15, and 15 plus 3 is 18. And I've got 2 decimal places. So I got 1.8 is equal to 0.2 K. And I'm not meaning like, okay, I mean like K, like the variable K. All right, so I need to get rid of the 0.2 and or 2/10, however you want to say it. And the only way to get rid of 2/10, because we're multiplying right here, is to do the opposite, which is dividing. So I'm going to divide by 0.2, cancels out, and now I'm just left with K. So I'm going to divide this by 0.2. And we're going to T-bow it. 1.8 goes in the division box, top in, bottom out. 0.2. We can't divide by decimal, so we got to move it and move it in the inside, because if you do it to the outside, you got to do it to the inside. And 2 will go into 18 9 times, and 9 times 2 is 18. And we have 9 is equal to K. 9 is not out, so peeps. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, raise your hand. Otherwise, good luck. If you like what you've been seeing, don't forget to like and subscribe so I can bring you more amazing content.